Andrew discovered something really, really big. Let's review. And we need to go back. We need to go back, and you can go on our Facebook page and see the hundreds of ants that are now clustered all over in Christine's area because we've cut them off.
And she's the sweetest thing in here. So
they have been all over us. They were in my headphones this morning, coming out of the board. These tiny little ants. And somebody had said when you get heavy rain, it'll move them inside. Oh. I don't know what has done it, but it's been the last few days we've been seeing them. But today was worse, worse than ever. Christine,
and they're all over the building. It's not just in this room, but today.
They're all here. So Andrew made a discovery.
Good news. I was over there just to check out the most active droplet of the stuff, the Terro.
Terro, yeah.
And I noticed after I looked at it, I said, wow, they're really gathering. I looked to the right, and I just saw the light hit the trail of ants on the black carpet wall, and then when I discovered the trail.
So since we've cut them off, Christine, you're not seeing them all over your console, right? They're not crawling on you. No, they're all attracted to the poison, which is almost like a syrup, and you just pour it out on these little cardboard squares, and it'll do them in, but it'll take a couple of days.
We got to be careful too. That looks like a bottle of hand sanitizer. Somebody walks by. Look at this!
Yeah, and all the ants come crawling all over your hands. Yeah. Anyway, that is what it is. So we have been infested this morning with ants, and it's not a dirty thing, right? You're concerned people are going to think that we're dirty.
Correct. Yeah, that was my. I mean, this happens to the best of us. So
you're making it sound like it's cockroaches.
No, it's not. Gosh. And it's not. It's ants. And the other thing
he said the same thing the time he walked in with scabies last year.
Please, what are you going to do?
These things happen.
I totally lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was going to say.
Muhammad Ali. We're going to talk more about Muhammad Ali with Ed Brophy from the Boxing Hall of Fame. They have an event coming up this weekend, and it's their induction ceremonies, and they'll have the parade and the whole 9 yards. But you have a whole bunch of memorabilia here that we're going to be able to this week give away in commemoration of this big week.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've got some autograph photos here. Ray Boom Boom Mancini, Zab Judah, and then we've got here a couple of broadcasters. Michael Buffer, I shouldn't say broadcaster, he's the ring announcer, an autograph photo of Michael Buffer. Al Bernstein, a broadcaster, and then Harold Letterman as well. So really cool. If throughout the week we'll give listeners a chance to win some of this really cool memorabilia. I've got passes as well to get into the Hall of Fame.
Muhammad Ali, of course, passed away on Friday. Some calling him, I think it was Bob Costas or Bryant Gumbel, one of them over the weekend, called him arguably the greatest athlete of all time. Not just the greatest boxer, but the greatest athlete of all time. He really was something. And in an interview with David Frost in 1974, Muhammad Ali was asked how he wanted to be remembered. And this was, keep in mind, this was 1974.
This was pretty cool.
There was one that came out of his book that was really quite poetic, that was written maybe, I think, 2012. But this one goes back to 1974. He said, I'd like for them to say he took a few cups of love, he took 1 tablespoon of patience, 1 teaspoon of generosity, 1 pint of kindness. He took 1 quart of laughter, 1 pinch of concern, and then he mixed willingness with happiness. He added lots of faith, and he stirred it up well. Then he spread it over a span of a lifetime, and he served it to each and every deserving person he met. And that was Muhammad Ali in 1974.
That is nice.
He would hand out pamphlets in the last 20 years because he was a traditional Muslim. Early on, he was he was Muslim. Early on, he was a part of a little more of a radical Muslim group, but nothing like we see with what's going on today, where they're out serving up as terrorists. And what Muhammad Ali wanted people to know is that this is they have destroyed the true religion. These people are, he wanted them to know that that is not the Muslim faith. It's not his Muslim faith, that these terrorists are exploiting and, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't come up with it. Ants is the word I keep coming up with,
Taking
and I can't help it. Nonetheless, he wanted people to know his faith as a Muslim. And I can't imagine how, since 9/11, how Ali had to be, how he had to think about the way people perceive the religion today because of the terrorist action.
You know, on some good news on that front, I read an article this weekend that some of the ISIS terrorists and leaders have been slaughtering their own for fear that they are moles or spies on behalf of other governments. And I think they killed like upwards of 3 to 4 dozen of their own lieutenants, for lack of a better term. But,
well, you're either with them or you're against them, right?
Correct.
There is no two ways. It's if you're not supporting their effort, then chances are you the best thing that can happen to you is death, and it's terrible. Anyway, Muhammad Ali, a great man, a great American. Even though that was challenged many times, people had a real problem with the fact that he would not fight in the Vietnam War. But after it was all said and done, who wanted to fight in the Vietnam? I mean, nobody wanted that. And when you look back on it, many have called it just a really terrible, terrible time in our history. But Ali was very controversial in that. But as Bob Costas put it yesterday, he really outlived all of his critics. And people really understood what he was about in the 1960s, and he was willing to give up everything. And in one case, he said, how far would you go? And he said, I would stand before a firing squad. I would die in order to stand up for the way that I believe. And that really tends to be what we all envision an American as, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty amazing. 8:20, here's Christine with an update. Christine Bellino, good morning.
Good morning. Louisville's week-long tribute to its hometown hero who became an international icon began with an interfaith service honoring Muhammad Ali. The Sunshine State isn't seeing much sun as Tropical Storm Colin rolls in, and the first private mission to the moon might soon get the green light.
Got a nice day on the way today. Sunny clouds with a high going up to near 80. And then we begin the cool-off. Scattered thunderstorms tomorrow, 71. Wednesday, scattered thunderstorms and a high only of 59 degrees. Currently, the sun is shining. It's 62 degrees. Coming up next, we'll talk to Ed Brophy from the from the Boxing Hall of Fame. Their big weekend coming up this weekend, and he has a lot to say about the one and only Muhammad Ali. Coming up next on WIBX.